So we live together.
Yep.
We watch football together.
Yep.
We talk about football together.
Yep.
Why don't we just start a podcast?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eye Test. Your boy Lyés and my boy CultureCams.
Yes.
The Champions League final has been decided, man. It's a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Before we do that, it's been a busy week, bro, in terms of just everything, man. How you been?
Good, man. Good. Very busy week. It's been up and down as well. Obviously, watched United lose 4-0, but we brushed that to the side.
Yeah.
Champions League games and stuff. Yeah, it's been good, man. Enjoyed it.
The whole Kendrick Drake.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was feeding the
You know,
streets.
there's been feeding the streets. It's been feeding this apartment, bro.
Yeah. It's been feeding the people, man. But no, it's been a fun week. It's been a fun week, man.
Yeah. Are you ready to say? Are you ready to say one guy's won it? By the way,
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm trying to say. We
Ain't
never know.
nothing
Twists and turns. Twists and turns, man.
Well, you need a last minute winner
We
like
talking about rap
Joselu.
We talking about rap goats.
Drake need a Joselu moment right now.
Oh,
But
man.
speaking of Joselu, let's start off in last night's game. Going to the Bernabeu, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich obviously tying the first leg 2-2. Nothing could separate them. And this game was just like so delicately poised, if you want to call it that. Like, which way would it go? Tuchel never lost a Champions League semifinal in his life. Never lost at the Bernabeu. I think in any meeting before that with Chelsea, with PSG, et cetera. And then obviously Real Madrid at this stage, we know what they do. But kind of give me your overwhelming thoughts on the game. Was it deserved? How just used to this with Real Madrid are you at this point? Was Bayern maybe robbed at the end? What's your thoughts coming out of this game?
I mean, you know what it's like on Champions League nights, man. Like, it's one of those times of the seasons where, everything about tactically and stuff, we speak about it, but you look at the big players, you look at the big moments, you look at the big occasions. So that's kind of what I walked away from, looking at some people's performances and stuff, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I think, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't want to repeat what Paul Scholes was saying or anything like that, or what pretty much everyone's saying, but this is Real Madrid, man. Do you know what I mean? This is what they do. This is what they do. Like, never say that. And you know what's so funny, right? Like, Real Madrid, I don't know this, maybe I'm misinformed, but this never say die attitude that they've just developed, like, they weren't like that though. When I was growing up, like, Real Madrid had great players. Yeah. They would win things, of course, but since these like Ronaldo comebacks and
the
stuff,
first one was the Ramos.
Yeah,
at the
Ramos.
end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're obsessed with these kind of like,
they don't do things
down
easy,
and out, and like, bro, where did this come? Like, the last 10 years, they've just been like, no matter what, we're gonna get there in the end.
It almost feels like they're doing it on purpose now too, bro. Like, double my rent, bro.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I remember, like if you look at their old wins, was it 98 and 2002 and stuff?
Yeah.
It wasn't like last ditch. Oh, we're gonna die on the line for this. Do you know what I mean? Like, but now every time they win the Champions League, it's heroics. You know what I mean? And this time it's fallen to Joselu, man. Do you know what I mean? And what incredible story. But I mean,
you know how crazy it was, by the way? There was a point at last night where both teams were playing former Stoke City strikers.
It's crazy.
You had Choupo-Moting on one side and you had Joselu.
Joselu's got back-to-back relegations, I believe. I think on his
Newcastle
name.
And Stoke.
He went Stoke, back-to-back relegations, and now he's sending Real Madrid to the Champions League.
And he's like a boyhood
final.
Madridista, right? Like, did you see the whole story? Man, he was with them in 2012. Obviously, went through Stoke, et cetera. But like, even the last Champions League final that they played in, he went there as a fan, bro, with his dad.
Insane.
And now he's sending Real Madrid to the Champions League
He was
final.
crying on the pitch, and so that was a nice moment.
Of course. No, I mean, look, especially for a player like that too, he hasn't played that much in the Champions League, to be honest with you. Like, they haven't often gone to him. Sometimes they'll just throw in Brahim Diaz on the right instead of Rodrigo. So for him to come on in a game like this, like, he's probably just thinking like, Lord, please let the ball fall at my feet one time and let me be a hero.
And you see, and Ancelotti, man, he's in another final. You know what I mean? Another Champions League final, and it's kind of fitting that he is, and it's kind of fitting that he is the manager that has won the most, because we always talk about how Champions League is about individual quality, is about that, and he seems to be the best in. I guess he does always have a lot of very good players, but he does seem to be the best in terms of just letting his players go out and just do what they need to do. You have a tactical setup, but going out, and he said it himself, talent is what's important for him. The quality of the players being able to go and do what they do. And that's what we see Champions League. We feel that the Champions League is at its rawest kind of level.
Yeah.
So for him to be the one it's nice. It's nice that it's not like a tactical.
No, look, 100%. Especially because we're going to talk about the other game later on. But like, I hear your point about, okay, Ancelotti always has the best talent. I hear that. But I feel like at this level, everyone has great players, right? Like Bayern, the United teams.
Yeah, I don't say the best time, but he always has supreme quality.
No, of course. But my whole point is, like, when you're coaching the likes of Madrid, Barca, Real, like, the best players are going to play for your team. But one thing about Ancelotti that I completely agree with you is he just finds a way of maximizing the best players' performances and talent levels and, like, putting them in the best situation to showcase it. And we're going to talk about other players in these semifinals. We're going to talk about other players throughout this, but you never have that issue with Real Madrid, and that's because of Carlo Ancelotti. So I think really, right, it's probably like, damn, how's it taking you this long? But this Champions League campaign in general, one of my biggest takeaways has just been that we look at Ancelotti, sometimes the league records, we look at him sometimes like, what's his style of play? But I've come out of this Champions League campaign more than anything looking at him and saying, I just have so much, like, I feel like I'm relearning the game now. Like, everything I previously thought I knew about football, watching Ancelotti teams play football makes me think like, oh, I've been looking at it just completely the wrong way. Like, we're in this tactical, everything is over, like, coached and stuff like that era that you just kind of think, oh, everyone plays like that, or that's the best way to play. But I think Ancelotti is almost like, the way he plays is almost like the poster for what teams are going to start doing more. Okay, having the defensive platform, being structured in your build-up and stuff like that, but the final third is where you have to let your uber talented players do their thing, and that's what Ancelotti's teams do.
But the thing is, right? Again, it is quality reliant, and Eddie Howe said a great thing. I don't know if you've seen, he did the overlap with Gary Neville, and he said he doesn't study Real Madrid because Real Madrid are a talent-based football team. So that basically means you can't go and watch Real Madrid for their patterns. No. You can't go and you have to have a Vini Jr. Yeah. You have to have a Rodrigo. You have to have a Cruz to be able to do what they're doing. So Ancelotti, as I'm saying, the quality in his team. And listen, this is why maybe it didn't work out in Everton.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe it didn't work out in Napoli. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's just a front runner or anything like that. But he does need, for what he does need quality players. And it's hard for other teams, I feel, in this era to kind of replicate that, because on the other side you look at Bayern Munich, and which we'll talk about, but how many times in the final third, if they had a Vini, they would have won that game, bro. But in the final third, Sane did, when they could make some breaks, Sane did nothing. Musiala did nothing. Kane was spamming balls all over the pitch, off the pitch. So,
but that's my question to you, right?
Where the quality was required.
But my question, I hear you 100%. They don't have a Vinicius Jr. But also, this is where I want to keep giving credit to Ancelotti and not take away credit from Vini, not at all. Because the way we're going to talk about him soon, I'm sure it's going to be waxing lyrical about him. But does a coach in world football, maybe you can think of a few, get more out of Vini as well too than Ancelotti because of the situations that he kind of gets him in, the overloads that his Real Madrid team create to always get Vinicius in the best situations to be Vinicius Jr., bro.
Absolutely. No, I fully agree. And that's what last week when I was talking about Vini and I said, is there a player in Europe that has to rely on his individual ability as much as, and that was the perfect showcase. They literally, and one thing Ancelotti's teams do well is they sniff where the danger is going to be in the game. As soon the game was going left and right, as soon as Vini beat Kimmich the first time, they were like, keep giving him the ball. Keep giving him the ball. Keep giving him the ball.
What is it?
Literally, it was literally keep giving him the ball and let's see what we can do from here. And it was straight barbecue. It was a barbecue. And you know what I mean? That is what, like, some managers might just ignore that side of things.
100%.
Carry on doing what keep our principles if we need to get to him. Nah, Real Madrid kept on giving him the ball in that position. And I just, on the other side, I cannot believe, and I don't even want to talk about Tuchel as a manager. I cannot believe nobody on the team. It's like sometimes players don't have game management. Nobody in the team thought, let's help this guy out.
Yeah,
like,
100%. I think eventually, like, De Ligt was like, okay, I'm going to basically double up on him with you. Especially in the fact that, like, look, Real Madrid don't have a striker. Yeah. And one of their main two attacking players is on the left. Yeah. De Ligt, you don't have to be camped out in the box where he's not crossing it to anyone. Like, at some point, help him out.
I think Lima was getting all about the pitch. I can't remember who the other midfielder.
Pavlovic.
He had a good game as well. I think maybe it's down to Leroy Sané to have come back and helped out a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? But
take nothing away from Vini
identifying the danger and maximize. So we'll sit there and be like, Vini's a madman. He's doing his individual brilliance, which he does every single week. But Ancelotti has to allow that to happen.
100%.
You know what I'm trying to say? So I respect that, man.
No, 100%. And look, just Vini, man, right? Like, we kind of built up this game last week, throughout the week, talking about Vinicius Jr., talking about who is the best player in the world, who is Mr. Champions League and all of that. And time again, this guy just keeps answering the call, bro. Whatever question you have, Vinicius Jr. is the answer. And this is one of those games, right? Because again, I'm not going to talk about the PSG game yet. We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about other teams that I've watched, other players that I've watched. But this whole quest that I think the entire footballing world is on in terms of who is the best player in the world, who is the mantle, who is kind of carrying the torch for this new gen post Messi and Ronaldo. And we thought it was this guy at once. We thought it was... I'm not trying to say Vini is him, by the way. I'm not saying Vini has now become the outright best player in the world. But he answered the call yesterday. And one thing I absolutely love every time I watch about Vini, whether he plays bad, whether he plays good, and this is even back to when he wasn't Vinicius Jr. the way we know him now, he isn't afraid of the moment. In fact, he relishes it, and he always wants the ball at his feet. He's always asking for it. He's always looking up. He's always taking on his man. He's always trying things. And I just feel like for attacking players, and especially of that caliber, that's the least you can expect from a player. Go and kind of make your mark on the game. Impose yourself. Try and make the difference. And if it doesn't work out, at least you know deep down you left everything out there on the line. With Vinicius Jr., that's a guarantee whether he plays good or bad. And yesterday, obviously, is one of those good games. Like Kimmich, bro. Kimmich, we've talked about him as a right back. Whatever you think about him as a midfielder, as a right back, he's almost as complete as you can get and a very good 1v1 defender. Vinicius had him on toast, bro. He had him touching earth. That one where like he handballed it. He couldn't cope with him, bro.
And one thing that's so good about Vini, right, is that Vini doesn't just go on the inside. And I think that's probably what there's a few times where you see when he's running at Kimmich, the kind of body position that Kimmich is thinking that he's probably going to go on the inside. But Vini runs around you. Vini will be on the touchline, touching the ball on the touch, like right on the before a corner. Do you know what I mean? He's kicking it off like that, like he's on a goal kick. So that is what's so good about him, because he's going to go both ways. Yeah, he may not necessarily use his left foot, but he will go all the way around.
He's like what Anthony tries doing, but he actually has the ability to do it.
He will go all the way around to do it. And that's the thing. Like, he knows when he goes around, he kind of teases you to slide, and then he just tips it past you a little bit. And that's how he wins those dangerous free kicks in that corner. So you look at when he played against Martinelli. Martinelli was going to do the same thing every single time. Try go byline, baby food for Kimmich. Easy. But with Vini, you know, all right, if he goes inside, he can rocket one top bins, but he can also go on the outside. So then that is just a big issue for fullbacks. And that's why he's so good at taking people on.
100%.
You know, there was some good performances out there in the players as well. I feel like somebody listen, he gets his flowers, but he's just timeless, man. It's Tony Kroos, man. Like, bro, like,
you know, he only played 60 minutes though yesterday. Huh? He only played 60 minutes.
I know, but even when he was on the ball, it was just
metronomic.
That's what I mean. Like, I think he could have played on longer. I'm surprised.
I thought the same in the first leg.
Maybe Kroos ain't really mobile like that. So maybe it's getting to the later stage of his career and bringing on Camavingas, bringing on them type of players.
Bringing on Modric, by the way, who literally
had with mad energy, innit? He came with mad energy. That tackle at the end.
The tackle on Pavlovic, who, to be fair, looked like he was laboring at the end, but that's a 37-year-old sprinting back to get there.
Yeah, I just think the way Kroos I don't know, man, the way he just controls and calms things down for Real Madrid, man, so good. And it's like, it's kind of weird. Like, he plays like he's older than he is. He actually, 34 is old. But he plays like he's 38. You know what I'm
he does. And he's always played like that.
That's the thing. But nah, it's so good to see players like that still being able to play at this level.
You know who else I thought was...
League, I think he's going to final. He's going to do the same thing.
Of course. You know who else I thought was amazing too is Rudiger, man.
No, that's what I say. He's the best in the world, man.
Yes, yesterday, the way he played as well too, even...
Willed them to win.
But that's what I'm saying, right? The best players in the world. It's like, I'm going to... Hey, everyone get on my back. I'm going to bring this team forward. He's the one who had the assist at the end, man. He found himself in attacking position to find Joselu.
Willed them to win.
Oh, man, the guy's a lion.
Rudiger is the definition of a leader. He's the definition of a leader in emotionally, on the pitch, vocally. He is a proper, like, he's a captain material. He's like a captain without the armband.
He's the Ramos replacement, if you want to call it that.
He's a captain without the armband. Like, you know, he's crazy. You saw when he was pointing for Kovacic, and Modric looked at him and looked at him like, yeah, you were right. Like, you can see he's like that. He's that Draymond Green of the team, bro. That's what he is for for Golden State. Where like he's so important to what Real Madrid are, and he's embodied. He's kind of like embodied what the fans are on the pitch.
100%.
Like they love him out there, man.
But
like Tony Rudiger, man.
That's why.
What a guy, man.
All these things that we're talking about, though, is why Real Madrid, more than anybody, managed to pull off these late comebacks all the time. Because we talk about their never say die mentality. The Bernabeu, it almost is like on Champions League nights, it almost mythical. Like it almost like sucks the ball in itself, bro. Like the fans are obviously like exceptional, but again, if you want to just look at it from a purely footballing perspective, when you have players like Rudiger, when you have players like Vinicius, that literally every time they get the ball, whether it's minute 1 or minute 90, continue to just push forward and don't know when to quit. And it breathes onto the rest of the stadium, bro.
That comes though as well, right, from Real Madrid as a football club.
Yeah.
Because Real Madrid as a football club do not accept anything but winning.
Yeah.
Anything but winning. They will never have an 8th place season and they keep the manager because give him time.
Yeah.
There's not a such thing, bro. They will sack you if you haven't started the first 10 games well. Everything about Real Madrid is based on sporting excellence.
Yep,
it's as simple as that, bro. I remember I was watching Gareth Bale being unveiled at Real Madrid, right? Okay, it was a little bit of PR when he walked out and Cristiano was the first person.
For sure.
Right, but you walk out, first person you shake is Cristiano. You walk in, next person that shook your hand was Ancelotti. You walked into the team coaches. The next person that shook your hand was Zinedine Zidane.
And then Perez. And then Perez.
And then Florentina. How are you not going to win at that football club?
Yeah.
How is winning not everything at that club?
Yeah.
Look at the 4 people you just met, and as soon as you walk through the
greatest
door,
people in football history.
like you have to win. Winning is everything Real Madrid is about, and that's why that's why it's like goes into Rudiger, it goes into Vini, it goes into Modric. Look at Jude Bellingham. Yes, he's always had this thing about him, but he said it himself. Like this is different here.
Yeah, it's different.
Instantly, once you walk through them doors, it's win. And that's how you want all big clubs to be. That's how Barcelona should be. That's how Man United should be. Liverpool, Arsenal, Inter, AC. Everybody should be like that. But we've now come in a time where it's like, give this guy time, own a process and project. You won't hear them nonsense words at Real Madrid ever.
It's true.
Ever.
Yeah.
That's why they have the most Ballon d'Or winners. That's why they have the most trophies. That's why they have 15, may have 15 Champions League. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, breed sport. I think you said it perfectly. They just like embody sporting excellence more than probably maybe even any sporting team on the planet, bro. They are the.
They are. That's what they are. They don't drop their standards. They're like the only. Maybe I need to do my history research, but they feel like the only sporting franchise that haven't really. Yes, they had in their banter era.
That's still what 2 league titles.
Their banter era was collecting 2 league titles, signing Zinedine Zidane, signing.
I'm even thinking when they got eliminated in the Champions League 6 times in a row. They still won the 2 league titles.
Then that's their banter era. Do you get where I'm coming from? They're like one of the only franchises that have never really had a shocking period. You know what I mean? Like a shocker where it's like, well, we need 10 years to get back to even being respectable.
Perez not my locker room.
Nah, never, man. What? It's just a unreal club.
Did they get lucky
with the last minute decision? I think Rudiger and Nacho stopped playing. I don't think De Ligt would have scored if the whistle didn't go.
But if one thing that isn't an if was he was onside.
He was onside, yeah.
Like that's on them. Because here's the thing, right? There's the rule. As long as the referee doesn't blow, or if the
referee
offside
blew, for some reason.
But if he continues scoring or what, so if the guy who holds his thing up, the referee lets the game go. Rudiger and Nacho stop, and he still scores the goal.
Yeah,
they would have gone back to VAR, checked it, and given a goal. Aubameyang scored a goal like that against United a while ago. The fact that the referee, I don't know whether it's more on the referee or the linesman in general, right? I feel like almost these linesmen let the play go. Hold your offside flag after the play goes because you know you have that insurance policy of VAR. Like holding it up is almost like, I want to be the main character and all of that stuff.
You know what it is, right?
Yeah.
He done the long ball to Thomas Muller.
I think it was Muller, yeah.
But who was the first person that was in that play? There was somebody else that was up. Maybe it was probably Choupo-Moting. Yeah. He was offside. I think it was Choupo-Moting. I think the referee, Muller wasn't offside. I think the lino thought, such an easy call because Choupo was off. But he didn't anticipate that it was going to Muller. Do you get what I mean?
I thought
error there. So that's already an error there. Cool. You put your flag up. error, but it's rectifiable. The ref should never blow.
The long ball, I think Muller was off. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I think Muller was offside. Mazraoui was next to him. Muller was offside. Mazraoui was onside. They thought it was going to Muller.
Okay.
It went to Mazraoui instead, who was onside.
That's
knocked it down
yeah.
to De Ligt, and he scored. Okay, we got it all together.
Yeah, we got it there. You got there in the end. But that's what I'm saying. The referee, the liner, I think is flagging for who he thought it was going to go to. That's an error already. But the ref, it's on the ref. But ref should not blow the whistle because, as you just said, if they had carried on and let's say De Ligt scored, you can go back and be like, let me go and check that out. Boom, boom, boom. You put your flag up early. It doesn't matter, whatever. We still give a goal. But the ref blowing the whistle now allows Rudiger, Lunin, and Nacho to be like, oh. And then it goes in. Now you can never overturn that.
For me, though,
Lunin didn't even dive. Lunin just did this.
It's just the case of, for me, I don't know, like, if a ref sees the flag go up, is he obligated?
He's not. No, he's not.
You don't think so?
No, he's not. He's not. Is he?
I think if the linesman puts his flag up, he has to trust his linesman. For me, it's more so the linesman, I feel, has to be less like
what you said with the Aubameyang situation at Old Trafford.
I think the Aubameyang situation,
the liner went up.
Oh, and the referee didn't blow it.
And the referee didn't blow.
I just feel like in this day and age, anyways, because we have VAR. Okay, he blew his whistle. No, but okay, but because he blew his whistle,
they stopped.
Yeah, man,
you can't blow the whistle. You cannot blow the whistle because let's be honest, like it was a great finish, by the way,
incredible.
But Lunin didn't dive.
Yeah.
So Lunin could just. Well, if I dived, I would have saved it. You know what I mean? Lunin just looked at it.
One thing I will say, look, I think it was the wrong decision. I think
100%.
They should have let it play. But
you think it was a robbery, though?
No, and that's the thing, right? I've seen in the past, honestly, I've looked at some Madrid games. I don't say this as a Madrid hater, but I thought that they've gotten away with it. I remember the one where Ronaldo was offside. Vidal shouldn't have got that tie. I genuinely believe Bayern Munich were hard done by. This game, okay, they're hard done by the decision. But Real Madrid were the better team. Real Madrid deserved on the night to win. And let's be real, Neuer, I see a lot of people like, oh, the error that he made. Neuer kept them in that tie. Let's not get it twisted. Neuer saved Bayern Munich from a few early chances.
Hero and villain, man.
Yeah, no, of course. At one point, people were saying, this is the GOAT. I saw on the timeline, people were saying, that's the GOAT. We don't even have to question it. And now people are saying, he cost Bayern the... That's the life of a goalkeeper, too, huh?
Yeah, he threw it away for me.
Well,
I think he threw it away.
I think, look, you
can't give Real Madrid a sniff.
No, but here's the thing. You can't account for that. I get that 100%, right? Neuer allowed Real Madrid back into the game. But I look at this decision from Tuchel. And I'm not trying to do this injury thing because I learned my lesson of Haaland, right? But my whole thing of like taking off your best players.
See they asked to come off? Did you see that?
But that's the thing, right? And again, that's why
Tuchel said his whole attack asked to come off.
Well, that's why for me, again, I'm going to hold off because I learned my lesson of Haaland. I don't know what's wrong.
I
don't know what's wrong with Kane.
Learn your damn lesson, bro.
I'm humble. I can admit when I'm wrong, so I'm gonna wait. But again, for me, it's more the principle of I just don't believe in this. It almost feels like a newfound phenomenon because I can never remember it happening in the past. I can't remember a single instance when Ronaldo asked to be taken out of a game early. Or when Ronaldo was taken off for defense. Oh, let's defend for the last 15 minutes. That's another thing too. It didn't happen in the 90th minute. It happened with 15 minutes left in the game.
These red zones.
But to take off, to not have for the last 15 minutes, whether it was by choice or not, no matter how they played, right? Because I don't think any of them played a great game, but still they are huge attacking threats. Sane, Musiala, and Kane with 15 minutes left, and to one, bring on a defender, B, bring on Choupo-Moting, who no disrespect, but I just think those kinds of decisions inevitably invite more and more pressure. And I remember when Ali used to do this whenever he brought Tuanzebe on with 10 minutes left in the game. And I can remember countless times where it would end up hurting United because you're just you're inviting a team like Madrid at the Bernabeu in the Champions League with that amount of time. I didn't like that decision.
The Kane sub, I'm not mad at. I'll be honest. The Kane one for Choupo, it sounds funny and stuff, but the Kane one for Choupo, I'm not too mad at. Bringing on Kim and Jay was the wrong decision. That is the wrong decision. You don't bringing on a centre half, reverting back to your back five.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That I did not rate. I didn't like that, and I get it was very fine margins moment of the game. And again, you can't legislate for what Neuer did because he could be like, if Neuer didn't do that,
of course, he probably thinks he's a genius.
Yeah, but the Kim sub, not anything against Kim. Kim could be peak John Terry, whoever you are. Bringing on a substitute, a centre half in that moment when Real Madrid are just waiting for, give me any bit of inspiration. Yeah. That was a mistake, I think. But the Kane one,
you're okay with taking off Kane because I just think I even tweeted it before they scored the goal. I was like, if they score a goal and bring this extra time, and then maybe even penalties, you're left without maybe the best striker in the world, best penalty taker in the world. Is that really the decision you want to make?
Yeah.
You're okay with that decision?
I'm okay with it, but I understand. I understand that point of view. I would never like sit here and massively argue it, because as soon as it does get to 1-1, be like, damn, Harry Kane.
I'm literally have to play 30 games with Moting and not being that Kane.
You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm not going to be too mad at that. But I think Chupo coming on, I think he was just trying to get a little bit more fresh leg. Kane was waning out there. Kane, we're going to talk about him, but he was looking absolutely physically finished out there.
About
so,
Kane.
I'm saying, I feel like,
because I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, what more could he have done?" First of all, I saw people saying, "Oh, he got an assist on the night." Guys, like we're all human beings here, right? We don't have to lie here, right? Okay, he had the pass before the goal.
Yeah.
There's assists and then there's assists, right? Yeah. He played a nice pass to Davies, who had to take on Rudiger, put it on his weaker foot, and smash it in the bottom corner. Does anyone remember who had the assist for Gvardiol at the Bernabeu? I don't. Because it's a miracle goal, bro.
Yeah. I think, look, the Kane discussion is an interesting one.
I know you're happy right now.
I'm not actually happy, actually. I'm a Kane fan, bro. I'm a Kane fan, but only thing is, I'm a big Kane fan, but only thing is, it's just like, I feel like he's the most elite player we've ever seen with the most excuses. I think that's what he is like. You look, Kane, how can I put this into words, yeah? Harry Kane, when he started doing this drop deep role, right? Forget about everything before that. You're young, you're learning, you're growing, you're playing for Tottenham. I think he was unlucky in certain moments. I think he drove them in 16, 17. That's not down to him. 17, 18. That's not down to him. He was putting 30 goal campaigns. Cool. When Kane started this drop deep role, yeah, every single team he plays for becomes the Harry Kane team.
Yeah.
England, Tottenham, and Bayern Munich. So you always walk away from it saying, yeah, but Kane scored 40, Kane scored this, the rest of his teammates. That's because the team becomes so Kane-centric that anything else without Kane, it collapses. It's no surprise that teams that Kane plays for only go as far as Kane takes them. The minute he doesn't have a bad game in a Euro final, in a semi-finals, in a Champions League, they lose. Why? Because everything runs through Kane. Kane is in positions where he's getting the ball. Every attack you watched of Bayern felt like it had to start from Kane and a ping to Sane, or Kane and a ping to Davies, or to Musiala, whatever. It was never like give the ball to Sane, it's very Kane-centric, because he's dropping into these zones because he's physically cannot compete with centre-halves like that anymore. He's dropping into these zones where now he's getting the ball and he's having to lead the counter-attack. And if that out ball isn't on, brother, he looks like he's running in quicksand. Yeah. If we're being honest. Yeah. And he was losing the ball in silly positions, or the pass wasn't on. So when you look at Harry Kane, we can sit there and say he scored 30, he scored 40. But then if you're going to be that guy where the team is running through you in nearly every single attack, you have to score and turn up in these big games. You are the system. Everything now where Kane goes is Kane. The team is Kane. And that's what Bayern Munich have become. They have become Harry Kane and friends. Tottenham, Harry Kane and friends. Yeah. England, Harry Kane and friends. So I think the thing with Harry Kane now is his strengths are just as big as his weaknesses. Wow. That's what I think it is now. He's physically, he can't run too well. He's very ball dominant. Yeah. He can't compete with centre halves on sharpness
aggressive
levels.
Ones.
He can't. But his strengths are he's an absolute lethal weapon, for sure, and he's a great outlet passer. Yeah, but true. His strengths are just as big as his weaknesses. So you can only go as far as that, and if his weaknesses start to show, and this is why I think
that's a really I like it.
Think about it, and I don't want to compare it, but I feel like we have the same situation with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, everything goes through him. At the end of the season, you're going to look at the stats of Kane, you're going to look at the stats of Bruno, and be like, wow. They carry their football clubs every season. Why are they not winning?
Hey, man. I don't disagree. I never thought about it like that. But
like Bruno, his weaknesses are just as glaring as his strengths. His outlet passing is great. His vision is great and stuff. But he loses the ball a lot. He can't dribble. He can't carry. So he has to keep spamming it. In the end, he's going to get an assist. He's going to get a goal. Same with Kane. But it's just as good as it is for your team. In a way, I don't know. Sometimes if you
take one out, I don't disagree. I think it's just kind of shocked me about the whole like are Kane's weaknesses as loud as his strengths. One thing I will say about Kane, and I've always said this, I do think his playmaking is the most overrated side of his game. I genuinely like the way people were trying to talk about this guy. Like who was it that was saying at one point in the English media that Kane is as brilliant a passer as Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, so
he's
and
not.
Rooney and stuff,
He's not. Like he has this incredible, like you said, outlet. This ping over the top that he used to like spam to Son. Yeah. He'd spam to Sterling or Rashford. He'd spam that. I can't argue with it. He's brilliant at that.
Open space passing.
But in terms of actually like playmaking and combining, Benzema is always the example I give because exactly. These guys are playmakers in terms of. They're combining the amount of touches that they're getting on the ball in terms of on the edge of the box, inside the box, in their own half. Like these are playmakers. Also, their ability to carry the ball, dribble past players, create a yard of space, even their off the ball movement. These are for me playmakers. That's not to say that they're as brilliant goal scorers or whatever. Just playmaking. Kane has the ball over the top, but his passing range is kind of limited, man. Like he isn't this incredibly gifted.
There was a few times on the transition where he could have just slipped a ball through and he overhit it, or he, as you're saying, he's a great outlet passer.
You know what he is? He has passer. The way he connects his foot with the ball, ball striking if you want it. Whether he's shooting it, whether he's pinging it, he has this connection with the ball that is maybe the best in the world. But he's not really that brilliant of a passer. I don't know if that makes sense, guys, but that's the way I kind of view it.
As I said, he's got the range. He's got this kind of boom, boom. But I know what you're saying. Has he got like all facets of passing?
No, he doesn't.
Has he got the guy with a little bit of cuteness? Maybe not. But he's got that open space passing. It's something that I've spoken about a lot as well. I fully agree with that point of view. But I just think, look, I'm not trying to make it the Harry Kane
No, because that's the thing. They didn't lose because I mean, maybe you're kind of insinuating that.
Well, I'm not saying they didn't lose, but I'm just saying you get too many situations where you can't maximize the small margin you have when you have Harry Kane. That's just how I see it, right? So after the game, you walk away and say, no, but but where was Timmy? He did this, he did that. But bro, a lot of the times you're on the ball. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Nico Jackson's better than him, but on 4 or 5 occasions yesterday, Nico Jackson would have turned and ran his whole team up the pitch. Yeah. Harry Kane is laboring. He's laboring. He can't get. And that's just my thing. I think we leave too much excuse for it, where at the end of the game, it's this person's fault. It's this. But I saw Rio talking about it and saying, well, he's done his job. But yeah, you've done your job until it matters to the final hurdles. Like, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't want to say he scores for no reason. I'm not trying to become a clickbaity person, but it's like, if you're gonna take me, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, you're gonna take me there and you're not gonna finish it. Yeah. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Too,
like,
he had a big chance.
And did he take Bayern there anyway? Yeah. Has he been great this knockout stages?
Not particularly.
He scored clutch penalties.
Yeah, he had a goal against Lazio. Like, I mean, like, he's not been bad. I think.
He's been going
like him and Mbappe, I think, are the top 2 scorers in the competition.
And both of them have been underwhelming anyway.
For me, that's the way I came out of it. I have no agenda against Kane.
No,
like, I don't really have any feelings towards Kane whatsoever, to be honest with you.
I genuinely was supporting Bayern yesterday over Real Madrid, and everybody says I'm a Madridista, I'm a big Madridista, but I wanted Bayern to win because of Harry Kane.
Yeah, for me, I honestly have like, I don't feel anything for Kane. Yeah. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I think he's a great, he's a great striker. He's one of the best of his generation. One thing I've always disliked was this whole thing about, you can't compare, Benzema and Lewandowski and Suarez, like they play for these teams, and like you can't, like if Kane did this, that I've always despised. Because it's not even about like, whether I doubted Kane could do it in the past, but it's like, you're taking away what Benzema and Lewandowski and Suarez did to prop up what Kane could do.
And this is what I said on DR when I said it's hypothetical. Yeah. And now we're here to strip off the hypotheticals because you are playing for a very good team. And now it's, you know what? He's unlucky that he just came to Bayern at a time when they were declining. You know what? But then if you look at and then Tuchel's the manager, and then, yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, I get it. I'm not even going to get onto him too much really. That I find super funny that he joins the league and then literally they go invincible. Fair enough. But these are the moments where you just feel
and he had that chance at the end, right? Yes, he had that 1v1 chance. Yeah. If he didn't have a single chance all night, I'd just like, it's a tough night for him. He's playing against Rudiger. Like, what can he do? Like, he's just not, he's physically like limited. But he had that chance. And that's one of those chances. It's like Messi in the World Cup final. Hey, bro, no matter what you do, you bury that chance, bro.
And it's just to me like, I always feel like, is it a coincidence that the moment never falls to Harry Kane?
Ever.
It can't be a coincidence.
Fool me
bro.
one time.
Yeah, come on. How many times? It can't be a coincidence. It never falls to Harry Kane. It never does.
I used to say that all the time about Neymar. I was like, look, man, I think Neymar is brilliant, but the moment always falls for Messi. It always falls for Ronaldo. It never falls for you, bro.
It never falls for you, bro. Like, and it's just, listen, it's harsh, man. He will win a trophy in his career.
I hope so.
Yeah, he will.
If Bayern go trophyless again next season, come on, bro.
Yeah, he will. But I just think that this narrative that it's always everyone else's fault and never Harry Kane's needs to be put to bed. Not fault, but you are part of the team.
Bayern, though, man. I feel bad for them.
What about your boy, bruv?
Look, man, I think this is...
look, man. What about your boy, bruv?
Can I speak on it? Look,
let's speak on it. Let's speak on it because that's what the people want to hear. You know what I mean?
I think they want to hear me on someone else, to be honest.
For sure.
That one we'll talk about. That one, trust me, I got something loaded up. But
what about...
Musiala, for me, look, as much as I said last week in terms of like, oh, he's in that situation where he'll never get as much praise as Jude Bellingham, for example. I have to also look at it in the other sense in terms of like, he'll never really get the criticism of a Jude Bellingham because, again, he is a lower profile. He doesn't play for as big a team. Maybe some might argue he's not as good as Jude Bellingham. That's for you to decide. One thing I'll say, though, as a big fan of him, I do think that this tie has kind of shown the best and the worst of him at different times. I thought he was really good in the first leg. In the second leg, again, you talk about Vini always making your mark, always wanting to be on the ball, just wanting to make things happen. And some might argue, oh, did Musiala or Kane have the platform to do that? I hear all that, but I'm a big believer that at the elite level of sport, the elite should always be looking to make things happen. Like, it's not every day, oh, just sit in the system and hope the ball gets to you or something like that. Especially in the Champions League semifinal, you should want to get on the ball and impose yourself. And that's something I tweeted at halftime. I said, I would like to see Musiala impose himself more on this game. I didn't think he really did that. And I think this game in particular was kind of just a sign that as much as I like him, he's not there yet. He just isn't there yet. Like, he is not at the level of the elite level player. Maybe in terms of talent, he is. But there's a reason why we're not cooking Musiala after the game the way we were cooking Mbappe or the way we were cooking Haaland. Like, he's just not at that level, bro. He's not there yet. I think he has the talent to get there, but I have to be honest there. He's not there yet.
Yeah, look, there's things... The thing is, man, this is what I mean, right? People build people up so much, that in these moments, it feels harsher on them because of how they've been built up. Musiala's 20?
I think he might have just
20. He's the
20.
same age as Jude.
Yeah.
20, 21, let's say. Bro, these are new moments for these guys.
Kids. Yeah.
These are new moments. There's things that Musiala, because online they don't talk about. His final action needs to be better.
Much better.
His final pass needs to be better. His decision making needs to be better in instances. This is what's going to happen. But because people basically act like these guys are perfect, this is what happens. And look, I'm not even trying to come up on here and be like, let's run agendas on Musiala. But it is just, Jude, because he's been built up with the PR, as people say, and Musiala has become kind of like I'm not even going to say the media darling, because that's Jude. Yeah. He's the streets darling. That's what Musiala is. He's the streets darling. Yeah. Like it's, oh no, he's better than Jude. He's better than Jude. He's better than this, and not many people even watch him week in, week out. You know what I mean? So in these moments, everyone's going to go quiet and think, oh, but what did Jude do? What did Phil Foden do? What did Bukayo Saka do? But then in the discussion, it's Musiala's with all of them. So then why don't we talk about him now? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So those are the moments. But again, you got to just strip it all back. These men are young players who are new to these experiences. But this is why in these kind of situations, I look at it and I'm like, that's why you then have to start doing hindsight and realizing how harshly you judge others. For example, Phil Foden, he scored that goal against PSG when he was same age. Yeah, he scored that goal against Dortmund when he was the same age. But 2 years later, you're saying, but he can't find his role. Oh, he's not that guy. Musiala's clear. Well, here's Musiala in a similar stage, not delivering. It's just like, listen, they're up and down. It's gonna go up and down.
Course,
Musiala, I hope he doesn't. He could have a terrible Euros. All of a sudden, people will rewrite everything they think of him. Jude, we've spoken about it already. If England don't win this Euros, he's going to become the most hated guy in the not in the country, but by online fans, right? Musiala can have a bad season next. It doesn't mean, like, people are just too quick to make these players like golden. They're special. I always say, I don't want to ramble on, but I always say, when you look at young players, judge them unless they are transcendent. like a Mbappe, who I feel like in his first 2 seasons was in best.
Of course.
Are you in the top 10 player in the world
Yeah.
type situation, right? Or Messi's and stuff. Judge them as young players.
Bayern, man. I mean, I'm sure their fans. Look, the fans were actually like chanting Tuchel's name at the end. The dude had like tears in his eyes, and wow. In a season like this, the fact that he almost brought them to the Champions League, it's so close yet so far, and that's what it's like against Real Madrid. So Real Madrid, congratulations on going to the final, and they will be playing the team that just continues proving everybody wrong. I don't know if they can do it again, but they'll be playing Borussia Dortmund, man.
And by the way, apply everything I just said to Musiala to Jude Bellingham, by the way. Anyway, carry on.
Borussia Dortmund beating PSG 2-0 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. I'm not really surprised, I can't lie. I think we kind of finished off last episode by saying, would anybody be shocked if Dortmund beat them? You weren't, I wasn't. Like, I would like to see PSG there for the storyline more so. But Dortmund were the better team in the first leg. And in the second leg, I think you could argue, look, it was a weird game though, right? Because like PSG created the most chances. PSG hit the bar like a dozen times over 2 legs. Like the XG was probably crazy high, but also I didn't feel like PSG played that well, bro. Like I didn't feel like PSG got robbed. I didn't feel like PSG they were unlucky, but also like I was like, you guys also aren't unlucky not to go into the final. You weren't that great. You guys didn't do enough, in my opinion. And then the defensive mistakes. Marquinhos and Donnarumma, man, these two have their fingerprints on they have their fingerprints on every single time. I told you this.
This guy's the funniest takes on Marquinhos, I swear.
Bro, have I not told you this for the minute?
It's the most random.
No, but it's not random with this guy, bro.
It's like such a random thing, like Marquinhos, like, bro.
But bro,
it's a funny observation.
I'm telling you, if you watch back every time PSG get eliminated, his fingerprints are always at the crime scene, bro. He's a dud. And then Donnarumma too, man. I told you, this guy's so awkward. Like every time the ball gets to his feet, he almost got punished for it in the first leg.
He looks like he's too tall for him.
But that's why I always say this, right? And
like,
the thing is, he's shorter than Courtois. But Courtois, he seems big. He seems larger than life. He imposes. How long his legs Donnarumma ain't imposing, bro. I know they were talking about his penalties or whatever at the Euros.
Yeah, in the penalties, he's imposing.
I get that, but he can't save shots low. When the ball gets to his feet, he looks like... I'm not going to try and diss him here. What I was going to say was going to be crazy, but like... He just seems uncomfortable for his size. But anyways, this is not the Donnarumma and Marquinhos show, even though they almost always try and make it. Yeah. I think you have to look at one guy, right? Kylian, man. Kylian.
Because this guy, let's not forget people, this guy is the honorary PSG fan. Because you know what? After the game, you know what's so funny? You see me, I observe. I don't comment. I observe. Right? I looked online, first thing I did.
Well, first of all, I'm not an honorary PSG fan.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
After next year, I won't have a single reason to like him.
Listen, I went online, and you know, I always know when people are under pressure. Let me tell you when I was under pressure, by the way. The amount of people severe pressure. I always know when people are under pressure because they become so perfectly worded. They become analytical. They write paragraphs. This guy started giving like a perfect, like, the PSG. And then he started talking about, actually, you know what? If they want it and the Neymar, I was like, we've got him, lads. We've got him. This guy is under pressure. I was dying. I was actually laughing. I always know when someone's under pressure by what they tweet. And he was trying to kind of talk about the grand scheme of PSG. I'm like, no. We're coming to this eye test. So let's talk about it. Listen, I'm a big Mbappe fan as well. Man's not going to deny that. But let's talk about it. Because the people want to hear from you.
What do they want to hear? Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about Mbappe's Champions League campaign. And actually, we'll talk about his Champions League campaign. Let's talk about the 2 games against Dortmund. Was Mbappe good enough for the standard that we hold him at? Not even for the standard we hold him at. Was he good enough in general? Because we're talking about a player who unanimously is called the best in the world. We're talking about a player who we have seen score a hat-trick in a World Cup final. We're talking about a player who, if there is this mantle that you're talking about to snatch off... In fact, during Messi and Ronaldo era, he was really trying to put himself in conversation, scoring on Messi's head, doing all of this type of things. And for him to go a no-show as the favourites in PSG in a semi-final to end your kind of story with them, what was it? Was that good enough?
Well, nowhere near good enough. I think the word I have to use is just, I'm disappointed, to be honest with you. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. I won't even take it to the Dortmund tie. I think throughout this competition, bar the games against Real Sociedad, where he just feasted on their high line, Mbappe has been disappointing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointing. And we talk about, you said the word unanimously best player in the world. I'm not ready to say he's not the best player in the world yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the name people are throwing out right now is Vini, and we're about to see them next year. And the one thing I'm not going to do is say, oh, Vini's better than him, when we're going to get the opportunity to really see who's better than the other. But I think it's time I take away the word unanimously.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we have to do in this present situation. Everything I said about Vinicius Jr. against Bayern, and I made it a point, Cam, if you noticed, I kept talking about how relentless he was, how determined and like almost like hell-bent on dragging Madrid to victory he was. I made it a point to be specific about that, because that's what I wanted to see Mbappe do for this PSG team, whether it was against Barca and whether it was against Dortmund. I get it. I get Luis Enrique in terms of the way he coaches. It's very system oriented. The way we talk about, by the way, Arteta and Pep and De Zerbi in terms of like, oh, these guys are system. Enrique is more strict in terms of how his players play positionally in those systems than any of those guys. So I get that. I get Mbappe is in a situation where, again, the way I talked about Ancelotti and Vini, he doesn't have that freedom. He doesn't have that power. I get that. I'm not trying to pretend here that Mbappe was horrible. Like he was. But at some point, does it not bother you as a player of that level that you're touching the ball once every 10 minutes? That when you're getting the ball, it's just, okay, let me just hope that someone's in the box to get on the cross. Hopefully the ball gets to me in transition. Okay, I'll play as a striker and hopefully let's do a 1-2. Doesn't it bother you at some point? I feel like a player of that stand, and it's disappointing for me, because this is not something I would ever attribute to Mbappe. That's why it's disappointing. If this was any other player, it was Rashford, Leao, it doesn't matter who, I don't expect that from you. But Mbappe is a player that so many times throughout his career has been someone I've seen want to take the moment, want to get on the ball, want to change things. Against Real Madrid a few years ago, he was the one getting on the ball and making things happen when PSG had no answers. In the World Cup final, he was the one saying, give me the ball. I'm in the corner. Going against Romero, going against Otamendi. Dybala basically saved Argentina's life. I've never attributed Mbappe almost, I don't want to say hiding from the moment, but like being just complacent and content to let the moments come to him. I've never thought of him as that kind of player. So
that was just angled at Erling Haaland.
100%. That's something I've always kind of thrown at Haaland. And to be fair, that's Haaland's game in terms of like, he's never going to be someone getting on the ball, but he's someone you have to feed and stuff like that. I expect that from Haaland. I don't expect that from Kylian Mbappe. And I think more than anything, this season has shown me that maybe I thought Mbappe was more than he actually is, right? And I say that, and that's not to say, I thought he was.
Hey, people are gonna say that's reactionary.
No. Let me explain my stance on that. Mbappe is brilliant. Mbappe at times can be a one-man machine in attack, but I think Mbappe has shown that he still needs creators behind him, feeding him the bullets to feed those chances. And I was of the belief that he could do it without creators, or like he could at least still create those moments on his own, like a Vinicius, for example. I think Mbappe has shown, okay, when he has open space, when he's in transition, he's a monster. He might be the best player in the world in those instances. But I think I'm looking at the last few years when he had a Neymar, when he had a Di Maria, Mbappe was at times the final piece to the action.
It's because Mbappe technically isn't like them guys. Yeah, he's not technically on the level.
Nowhere
of
near.
He's not technically on the level of Neymar in terms of how in the dribbling ability of Vini Jr. He's not technically on that level. I've always said Mbappe is so good in the final third, right? That position that you were talking about with the Argentina situation, the Real Madrid situation. When Mbappe gets the ball there, his feet are so sharp, quick that you're too scared that you might give away a penalty. You're too scared about how quickly he can move his body. So that's why he gets off shots. And we saw when he hit the post in the first leg, that he's so good in that position. And then anywhere else, if it's in the transition on the move, he's great. But Mbappe is like, fine. For me, when I look at him, it's like final third. When I see Vini, I can see Vini getting the ball in the first third and running around, or the second phase and running inside. Mbappe is not that player at all. I hear you, and I agree with that. I agree with that. But this is where now Mbappe is in trouble. I'll tell you why Mbappe is in trouble. Because he designed this team like this for a specific reason. He's the one who didn't want to play with Neymar anymore. He was trying to get him out a year earlier. He's the one that when I think it was Galtier who was trying to play him as like a 9, as a guy who could just be on the last line. He didn't want to do that. He was talking about pivot game. He wanted to be somebody that was playing on the left, involved in all of these actions. He's the one
who demanded this responsibility. He's the one who brought Dembele to the club, brings Barcola to the club, bring Colombo. You're basically bringing, like, it's like the banana boat, bro. Bring all your boys to the club. This team has been designed. I'm not saying he's the GM. He's the one telling Nasser, buy this guy, buy this guy. Of course, they have Campos there, but anything Mbappe has asked for at PSG, he has been given, and he's been given it on a golden plate. He is, and that's why I said, when you said who needs to step up more than anyone, he needed to step up more than anyone because this is your team. And this is why he's in trouble, bro. And he, in my opinion, should have been praying that Bayern Munich beat Real Madrid next year. Because for all intents and purposes, I reckon we both believe Real Madrid are going to win the Champions League this year. He is going to that team off the failure of losing to Dortmund. And I'm not trying to make this, it's a KD move, because this is a different sport. But if anyhow Real Madrid next season of Kylian Mbappe, if they win this Champions League, don't win it next year with you there, the question marks inevitably will rise. Whether you think it's narrative-based, whether you think, you're trying to create something out of nothing. Football fans are like that, bro. I know how you guys operate. If Real Madrid, as defending champions, don't win it with Mbappe next year, the question marks on Kylian Mbappe's club career to this point are going to be loud, bro. Because this year... The reason I brought up the whole PSG thing in terms of there have been better teams that didn't win it, this was his best chance to win it because of the path they were given. Sociedad, a Barcelona team that were depleted and basically capitulated. Dortmund, it was there for you, brother, and you didn't do enough, anywhere near enough. I really wonder if after those two legs, Mbappe thought to himself, like I said about Vini, whether they had lost or won yesterday, he could have left that game saying, I did everything I could. Did Mbappe feel that same way? I don't feel so.
I feel like you said everything, mainly everything, right? And the thing about it is that the problem is going forward now with this move, in terms of what you said, I agree with. Like, we know how football fans are, we know how online is. I would say the problem is with Mbappe. I'm trying to think of superstars of this level that have moved clubs, and they always felt like there was a little bit of a need for that person, a little bit of a need. People are looking at Mbappe and Real Madrid saying, is that fit correct now? And that's the problem now. This is why I had a big issue with him staying at PSG in the first place. Because in the first place, when they really needed, we never anticipated that Benzema was going to go on an all-time campaign. But at that moment, that season before was when he was really linked to going to PSG, and to Real Madrid, he didn't do it, and he took the big money. Yeah. I thought I was very vocal about that.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was getting obliterated. Oh no, he wants to win with his boyhood club, whatever, right? There was a need for Mbappe there. Ronaldo, it was kind of post Ronaldo hangover.
Vini wasn't Vini.
There was a need for Mbappe there. Now you're looking at, like, if Real Madrid win it, I look at this Real Madrid team and I think, actually they need a out and out 9 more. They need a Haaland more. Yeah. They need I don't even know who else is coming up. They need a Kroos replacement. And that is the problem. Because if Lionel Messi was on the market, imagine thinking, is there a need for Messi at any club? It's not. If you're Ronaldo, and these are the standards, we're talking about new goats.
It almost feels like Madrid are buying him because we know his talent. And it's like, okay, don't let anyone else get him. Let me say,
it almost feels like, it doesn't actually almost feel like it. Mbappe needs Real Madrid more than Real Madrid need him at this point.
I think it's unquestionable.
And that hasn't been the case when superstars move football clubs.
It hasn't even been the case for Mbappe and Madrid until this moment.
Exactly. And the only time I've seen situations like that is when guys are getting to their later years. I'm going to compare it to like Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry did it at 29, I think it was. 30. Where he was like, all right, I need a Champions League. I haven't won it. And Barcelona needs something. I'm going to go over there. And whether I reduce my role, whatever, I want to go and win a Champions League. It kind of feels like Mbappe is already in that position and he's 25. Like, well, okay, my time's up at Real Madrid. My time's up at PSG. I need to go and win. Let me go to Real Madrid, who potentially are going to be the defending champions. Now, I'm not going to do the cross-sport thing either. Yeah. But it does kind of feel like he needs them more than they need him. And that's kind of a bit... I'll be honest. I think it's really taking the sting out of his move to Real Madrid.
1,000%.
Potential move. And I've also never liked how everyone just knows that he's going there anyway, first of all. But I think it's just taking a little bit of the sting out of it. And listen, he's Kylian Mbappe. He can go there, deliver, and then all of a sudden...
No, but this is what I'm saying. No, but hold on. This is what I'm saying. Next year, it's not enough for him to deliver anymore, bro. Mbappe needs to go to Real Madrid
now. It's basically perfection, isn't it?
He has to go there. I'm telling you right now, forget about football fans. If Mbappe goes to Real Madrid next year, when they win the Champions League and they don't win it next year, Real Madrid fans will be getting onto him, bro. Already, Real Madrid fans aren't super keen on the way Mbappe has treated them the last few years, bro.
Yeah.
Already, there's been the whole thing. Oh, you keep rejecting us. Like, okay, fine, we'll come in for you again. If Mbappe doesn't come in next year and light the world on fire, which he's capable of, no doubt about it, and continue this overall perfection. Like, he needs to perform almost to Ronaldo levels, bro, to make this 3-year quest to bring him to the Bernabeu worth it.
He set himself up for not failure, because I don't associate Mbappe with failure.
No.
But he set himself up for...
He needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
He actually has to be perfect.
He has to seek perfection. And how many people have been perfect? It's pretty...
And that's not to say he's incapable of it, but like, I just feel like this whole thing... Maybe it's hindsight now, because like you said, you were just spot on at the moment. Like, that Madrid move at that time was perfectly timed for him. Now, bro, and even like the way we're talking about the way Vinicius was always the one people were saying, oh, he could go on the right. That's not happening anymore, bro. You're going to have to play down the middle, and it's going to be a different role to the way you play down the middle at PSG. Again, I get that, but
let Vinicius decide that Champions League final too. Imagine he does. All of a sudden, then ego starts.
Hold on. Wait, let Vinicius win the Ballon d'Or this year, and Mbappe go to that club.
Wait, what number is Vini?
7. Vini's not getting 7. Mbappe's not getting 7. No way. He'll get 10 maybe if Modric leaves, or 9, or like. I'm telling you, this move hasn't worked out. But yeah, look, for me, look, I still think, is he the best player in the world? When everybody is playing on. You have the whole pool of footballers in the world right now at your disposal. When everyone's playing at their max capacity, who's the best player? I think I would still say Kylian Mbappe. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna forget everything I've seen now.
No, Mbappe
but it's a whole lot. This season in general in the Champions League, when you finally had the responsibility of saying like, okay, you're the guy that this team defers to by his own design. It hasn't been good enough, or hasn't been anywhere near good enough. And I've been harsh on players that I view as like your counterparts, the Erling Haalands of the world, the Harry Kanes of the world. When I view you as that good, I said it to you so many times, I hold you to those standards, and you have fell not even just a little bit short, extremely short.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. There's nowhere else for him to really go anyway.
No, that's the thing. There's nowhere, bro.
I don't know. I just don't like how it's. Oh, we all know he's going there. Real Madrid have already.
It would be nice if Barca had the money, to be honest with you, and Barca could bring him in there like an answer. Yeah. But the fact, it's one of the weirdest moves now, bro. It's weird, honestly. But look, this is not the Mbappe show. No. As much as he sometimes make it, this is the Dortmund show, bro. They've done it. Like they're actually in the Champions League final. And I think for a second we were all thinking we were gonna get their Klassiker, the rematch of the Wembley final in 2013. Obviously, Real Madrid ruined that. But Borussia Dortmund, always discounted, always written off, have yet again done it. And you just think about the yellow wall, right? It almost like came to life against PSG in that second leg. The way those guys defended with their lives. And of course, like I said, I'm talking the second leg. The second leg.
Oh, as in the actual defender.
That's what I'm saying. The yellow wall came to life. As the defensive wall, bro. Yeah. Again, they got lucky with the post on a few times, but the way these guys just defended for their lives, and I want to give credit to Schlotterbeck, first of all. I thought Schlotterbeck over both legs has been really, really good. But Hummels, man, obviously pops up with a goal too. Man. But Hummels has kind of just like rolled back the years this entire Champions League campaign, man. Just oozes class on the ball, defensively brilliant. I think everyone on Dortmund honestly just deserves so much credit, man, because we talk about the Champions League often in terms of like the individuals, the stars, the X factor. They don't really have one guy, for example, who's just scoring every round or like lighting the world on fire. You've had Sancho had a good game here. Fulkrug, Brent, I think, is really, really underrated for me. But it's just a great unit, man. Like these guys will just fight for each other till the death. And Terzic, of course, as well too. You have to give him massive credit.
What did they say? Like whose power is, what is it? Immovable object, and what do you say?
Unstoppable force. Unstoppable force. Object.
Is it the Royce? Is it the Marco Royce story, or is it the Real Madrid heritage?
I think that's an unstoppable force meets a very movable object, bro. What the hell?
You never know, because he just announced he's leaving.
Yeah, but you got your Real Madrid winning machine versus Royce's.
You know he's the FIFA generation GOAT.
You know what it is with Royce though, right? Like, I hear a lot of people gonna play, bro. Yeah, he probably isn't. But I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I just never got it with Royce or whatever." Like, I don't see that. I hear that. Me, I'm not a huge Marco Reus
Yeah.
fan. One thing about Reus, bro, he was a damn good player.
He was.
I think people do forget that.
He was.
actually a really, really good player.
He
And
was.
For me, the unluckiest thing is 2014, the World Cup.
Oh, so
People talk about his
sad.
Dortmund. He should have been part of that group, bro.
Injuries
Yeah.
ruined a good player that I
Yeah.
think would have went on and played in the Premier
Yeah,
League.
no, for me, he was a
I think-
really, really good. He was like one of those standout German players whenever he played. but-
He's one of them players that I looked at and I always thought, he one day he'll play in the Prem. He'll be like, I think he would have been in that folklore of Coutinho and them type of names.
He's that era,
Could have been like that, man. I actually really think he could have been like that, but it's a shame. But he announced his retirement.
Yeah, I know he's leaving.
Well, sorry, he announced he's
He's
leaving.
going MLS at the end of the season.
Oh, he's going MLS.
Yeah, I think that's what they're kind of.
He's gonna try to link up with Messi, yeah. Messi, bro.
Nah,
He
he strikes me more as like I'm going to
LA
LA or
Galaxy.
something, yeah, LAFC or
Yeah.
whatever. Royce ain't hanging out in my. Royce is
them
an LA
man there,
dude,
bro. They're trying to click up, man. They're trying to bring.
Royce is an
over
LA
now
dude,
too.
some hipster, bro. Like his
Yeah.
blonde highlights or whatever. Royce ain't chilling in Miami, bro.
But yeah, man. Honestly, good Champions League or decent Champions League final anyway. Not the one that we probably expected.
Do you think
But
really
at
though it's
Wembley?
Yeah, hopefully we're there. But do you really think like Dortmund have no chance? Because I see a lot of people just saying, "Oh, it's."
I'm not gonna give
'cause
anybody.
I remember
in the
Inter
final.
City last year, and obviously different teams, different coaches, all that stuff, yada yada yada. But everyone went to that final saying Inter stand no chance. He's
Yeah.
gonna batter them, and Inter played them really, really well. On a different night, Lukaku scores a few goals. Inter could have been European
The only
champions.
thing is just
It's
Real
Madrid.
Don't lose
It's
Champions
Madrid,
League
yeah.
finals,
Yeah,
man.
no, I
They don't
hear
lose
it.
Champions League finals, and so I can't see anything but a Real Madrid win. But listen, nothing is impossible.
Yeah,
Dortmund
finals
are
as
there
well
for a
too,
reason.
yeah.
It's a final, man. Anything can happen in a final. But I struggle to see anything but a Real Madrid win, man. And
you
I can't
imagine?
believe how this story has panned out for Jude
I
Bellingham.
was just about to say that.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Like, this is actually, bro, there must be something going on here. Like, something, he must have like a player, a recording on him at all times.
Right,
That
it's
he's
gonna
just
be
going
the
to release some
craziest
documentary,
documentary, bro.
because this doesn't make sense.
He's
Like,
an industry fan. He's an industry
his
fan. It's as simple as
performances
that.
haven't been the greatest in the knockout rounds of this Champions League. But for him to go to Real Madrid, right? Now, Jude Bellingham, sorry, it's crazy. For him to go to Real Madrid, do what he's just done.
And hold on, have you seen the story? It's like quarterfinals, he played Haaland. Semi-final, he played Musiala.
Yeah.
Final, he's playing Jadon Sancho. Like,
Yeah,
it's like
this is weird
It's
stuff.
weird,
Yeah,
bro.
like he's playing all of his. Yeah, man, this is all weird, bro. This is all weird. He's paying all his ex-boys.
I need an investigation going on into this, bro. It's a little too
Bellingham-
perfect.
Jude Bellingham walked into Real Madrid. Yeah, let's put this into context. Jude Bellingham went to Real Madrid, started speaking Spanish, by the way, on his unveiling. That was already a first flag. Where it's like,
Talk about Sidlow, like, yeah, I'm a big Sidlow.
wins the Golden Boy, absolutely tears up Spain, wins La Liga, goes through a Champions League run.
You mentioned the El Clasico goals, by the way, too.
Oh,
The last
the
minute
El
winners
Clasico,
twice.
the El Clasico winners, goes to link Haaland, who's his boy, knocks them out. Not him per se, but his club. Goes and links his childhood mate, who he has pictures with as a youth team in England, Musiala. They knock them out. And now he's about to go and play his former team.
And not even just his former team. Sancho has also joined this team as OG.
He's also young boy as well.
Yeah.
He's about to play his former team in the Champions League final.
It's so
Wait,
scripted, bro.
at Wembley, the home of his nation. I ain't seen a script like this.
You know what's happening? I'm telling you right now, the only thing that can make this more perfect is in the final if he scores a Zidane volley. Wearing his number 5.
He is
on my
good.
leg.
You know what? Let me tell you right now.
Oh my God.
He is scoring that. You know what I mean? He is.
If he does that, I'm sorry, FIFA, UEFA,
Listen,
any governing body in the world,
Mate,
an investigation.
he
needs
might
to be
have
made
a,
on
like
this.
a microchip in his forehead or something because this is crazy. But listen, Netflix, you have one job.
Yeah, it's a
You have the
simple one,
easiest
too.
job
It's
in
the
the
easiest
world.
job in the world too.
Make that first season Jude documentary. It's as simple as that, man. Unreal. But like, listen, yeah, people are going to talk about his performance. It wasn't great, but listen, I can't knock a 20-year-old girl on doing this, man.
Definitely not. But I think that's gonna wrap it up. To
Yeah,
be honest
man.
with you, man. Borussia Dortmund versus Real Madrid. That's the Champions League final at Wembley. We'll have a prediction for you when that kind of comes. We'll be talking about that game, all the build up ahead of it. But let us know what you guys think. Who's winning that game? Do you think that the semifinals played out the way you expected it to? All that good stuff. As usual, shout out BR for powering this podcast. Like, share, subscribe, all platforms. We'll catch you guys soon. Peace.